Okay, I guess we can go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. I am Radical Reggie. You guys, some of you guys may know me from Metal Jesus, I think, or my own channel. This is my friend Jesus. He is a PR person for a game that you guys know I love, Horizon Chase Turbo, which is on his shirt. You know it? And pretty much for this event, it's gonna be very simple. You know, I figured we do a Q&A. I don't want to talk for a long time because you guys might get bored if I'm just yammering on. So I want to get you guys involved pretty much. So just start off real fast. I'm really enjoying the event. PRGE is back, and man, it is amazing. Found a lot of cool stuff while I was here. Got to talk with a lot of people. Everybody's having a good time. And we got a whole other day ahead of us, which I'm excited about. So I'm really pumped up. But just want to start off with a Q&A, so if anybody has any questions about that they want to ask me about the channel, gaming, the event, you know, we'll start the Q&A right now. So does anybody have any questions?
But I got to look around and see everybody set up as they were setting up, seeing
cool.
what
They want to
places
go
I would hit first the next day.
Does anybody have any
It
questions?
was really crazy to think.
Nothing? Okay, good. You can stand at the mic if you want, or you could just sit.
I think you said in one of your videos that at one point you unloaded your Sega CD Collection.
Dang.
I think you also mentioned that that was one of the more enjoyable unloads because you're looking back at it and
Yeah.
you rebuild that. And if so, are you going for like to recreate what you once had, or are you just going for certain titles that you think you might play?
That Sega CD Collection was like, oh my god, dude. A lot of those games right now are so much money. Like I Echo Flying Squadron is one of the most expensive Saturn games. So trying to get that back, you know, it's just, I just couldn't do it. I regret selling it a little bit, and then I don't at the same time, because the Sega CD to me, though I like the system, it's not a dedicated system. You know what I mean? Like I've had over my lifetime, I had 4 Sega CDs. One of them, my first one, which was a horrible story, but I remember I took it to a friend's house and I put it back in my backpack because I had to go catch the bus. My backpack was open and I was trying to run to catch the bus across the street, and that thing fell out and smashed on the street. And I remember the horrible sound it made. I'll never forget. And I said, man, I was like thinking, can I fix it? But it was done. It was slammed hard. And then after that, I got other ones and the fuses would go out and stuff like that. So I was like, man. And then it doesn't have that much memory for a lot of the games I had. Like I wanted to play RPGs like Shining Force, so it was kind of tough. Did you have any experience with the Sega CD, Jesus?
Yeah, well, I had Nintendo. I was always playing Nintendo systems. I had one friend that had a Mega Drive, and at the time he said, "This is bullshit. This is like a 32X Sega CD." I'm from Spain, so everything was so expensive, and at the same time there was PlayStation 1 and everything. So I basically get over it. Never played it until 2010. I bought it for 50 euros. To a guy in Madrid. So I started playing such great games there. I thought this is really what they promised for. They promised, like it was like a next step for the Genesis. And it was a pity that they didn't make, I think it was all about timing, because they came out with so many new stuff all like in a very, very short time. And I think if this season would have come out 1 year before, it would have been incredible. Like it really will have had a much longer lifetime, and also the other thing, it was like the marketing. They focus a lot on the FMV, all those movie type kind of games.
Right, it was grainy.
Yeah, so they were not so great. I think there was Road Avenger. I think it's one of the best.
That was one of the best.
The rest are not so great.
Yeah, I had a lot of those games like Road Avenger, a lot of FMV games. Like one of my favorite one was Wirehead. You guys remember Wirehead? I think that was the last Sega CD game released. But just to go back to your question though, like would I try to gain it back again? No. Right now, when it comes to Sega CD stuff, I have a lot of repros, so I can just play them again like that. But going for the originals, they're so expensive because they were not limited, but they didn't sell well towards the end, so they didn't make that many certain games. One of my friends, you guys know John Riggs, he remembers at Toys R Us when Code Flying Squadron was in there, discounted at like $5. And then you got games going for like over like 2,000 now. So, you know, to try to build my Sega CD collection back again, you know, I would have such buyer's remorse and over each game, and I can't do it anymore. I just want to buy games for like what I would call a fair price or a cheaper price. So
Just remember this story related to my Sega CD experience. It was 2013-14 when a friend that is he was living in Madrid at the time, but he's now a teacher here. I think it's in Florida. It's Jonathan. He's a musician, video game musician. So basically, he said, "Man, I'm a big fan of all Sega stuff, and there is a huge." Like a huge company, I mean, in terms of quality, that everything that they did for the Sega CD was gold. It's called Core Systems, Core Design.
wow.
So I had Seal Feed, I had, what's the other name? The other game, Cobra Command, I think, Soul Star,
yeah.
and another one that I don't remember. So he asked me for those 4 games, and he said, what do you want from me to give it to you in exchange? So I was so stupid because the thing I chose was, Engage. Now I'm friends with all of you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically, I changed the 4 games for the Engage without box, only the system, the cell phone. And with 4 games of 10 games, shitty games. Only Tomb Raider, I think, was the only one that was worth it. And since then, I look at my plastic, sticky, Engage that gets even worse with the time.
Right.
It's plastic. And I started recovering those games, but it's so hard.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Back in the day, that Engage was, wow, this is gonna be,
Yeah,
so
because
awesome.
it was like a gaming system and a cell phone, so that's like a hybrid system. It was a good combination, It's funny, I actually have one Engage game, but I don't have a system. I don't even plan on getting the system, but if I see it for cheap, I would get it, but now they're expensive.
There's a story about the Engage. It was on Reddit that they said, a guy said, I was working at Nokia and I had access to the conversation or to the maps or to the design of the system, and they tried to build a console like comfortable to play as a console, but they didn't get that approved. And the design that get approved was when they get completely out of ideas, like we don't know what to do to get this approved as a console. So let's smash a keyboard off a cell phone and let's put it and submit it to the managers, and that got approved.
They got approved.
And that's the idea. That's why Engage is like so horrible.
Are there any Engage fans here? No.
I mean, not really. I just, as a kid, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
My friend had one, so.
It's cool like that. Right on. But I will tell you this though. Going back to the Sega CD thing, I am kind of slowly rebuilding my Saturn collection. Like I'm trying to get some of those back. It's more affordable, I would say, than the Sega CD, because the Sega CD stuff I got was just like I got it way cheaper than what it's going for now. So just like building it up again would be crazy. All right, does anybody?
What's a game that you heard that most people didn't like, or that you didn't expect to like, but then you ended up playing it and it was like you really liked it? Do you have a game like that, or something got bad reviews and then you ended up playing it and it's a game that you really
I don't think anybody is going to remember this game. I feel weird even bringing it up, but it was called the Final Fantasy VII Killer back in the day on the PS1. Anybody remember Shadow Madness? No, see, nobody remembers that game. They tried to charm everybody with having the graphics look like Final Fantasy VII in a way, but they were just kind of like bad. But the story for that game was really good, and the characters were very likable, but graphics-wise and battle system-wise, it was like pretty forgettable. I'm trying to think of something more that you guys will remember, because nobody remembers Shadow Madness. Maybe something more modern.
Legend of Dragoon, well, for PS1, that was what I played other than Final Fantasy 2.
Yeah, the Legend of Dragoon's on point. That one is like, people still want that game remade. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Legend of Dragoon was pretty much in production when the PS1 that came out, so it took like 5 years for it to like even get put on the system. So they put a lot of money into that game. But
One point, Legend of Dragoon. There is only one copy that's on sale in Spain, and the guy is asking $10,000
Really?
because the ad says, I haven't seen this game anywhere, so I put $10,000. If you know somebody that's selling, maybe I change the price.
I have my copy. That's
But the point is that the European version, I think the Spanish version is translated in Spanish. So I think this game is one of the most sought after games and not so well known. So yeah, it's only because the highest price I've seen maybe is this game.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna have to come back to your question about it because I have to think about it. 'Cause I want to give you a solid answer. But,
Only one point. I have my game, but it's related to a great experience. So I'm 39 now, and all my friends have kids, and I have no kids. So I'm more I have more free time. So what I thought is let's try to find a good moment and a good excuse to bring my friends home and gather and have a time playing together. So I have my 4-player adapter for the NES, and that's great because it's really hard to take them out of the routine, the family routine. So there's a game. So I pick up all my 4-player games and to play together, and sometimes even meet friends that don't know each other. So one of the games that really surprised me, and I thought it's gonna be super bad. I mean, let's try it. Is a Super Spike V-Ball for the NES. I mean, we had a lot of games, and we spent 80% of the time playing Super Spike V-Ball. Like that game, you play it, and it is like a super simple, but you need to master those movements. And it's like everything is so clunky, and you think you're not gonna make it. You make it, and then no, it's because of you. No, so that's the game that really surprises me. And it's one of those cheap games, $8, $9.
on the G, perfect. That's what we want.
First, your game, got it for the Switch, fire, love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Sends me right back to when I was there.
Good old Horizon, yes.
So good, so good, so good. To you, Reggie, with me, first system was Nintendo. My brother had Atari, but I didn't play it. He had like some other crap games. So, like, I was like, this is too much work.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
mine was Nintendo at age 8 because I forced my mom with science for 6 months to get it because I heard friends at school talk about
Really?
8 years old.
You know, it's funny. My mom had surprised me with the Nintendo system. She just bought it randomly. So I was like, on Christmas, I wasn't expecting that. So I was kind of blown away and everything. And the Nintendo system, that was my first main system because I didn't go back and play Atari or any of that stuff. I just but
I still can't go back.
yeah, I know, right? But what really wowed me, I think, was the Super Nintendo. I remember getting that on Christmas and having Super Mario World 4. I mean, Super Mario World. I always call it Super Mario Brothers 4. It's his older name, yeah. But that blew me away, and that was an amazing
I was
experience.
more amazed with the Genesis. I think I was kind of stuck in the whole Sonic hoopla. And I love
The 16-bit wars, like Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo,
I
yeah.
didn't care. I was just like, games.
I was able to appreciate the Genesis more when I got older. When I was a teenager and I got to play it, if I had got the Genesis over the Super Nintendo, I would have been more of a Genesis fan because it was more aimed at teens and they had more games that were more like
Right, exactly.
Streets of Rage. You wouldn't see that on the Super Nintendo, as violent as it was. So that was cool. So yeah. Anybody else? Look.
For someone like yourself that has a really large collection, as we find more options like emulation and FPGA to play these older titles, are you finding that your original hardware is starting to collect dust?
Yeah, so I was a real fan of I don't know if you guys remember the Retron 5. It was more of an all-in-one system. So that was a big thing where I started collecting because I wanted to have an all-in-one system, so I don't have to have all these systems hooked up. I feel like I want to play my stuff on modern televisions, so I'm totally into those systems. As far as emulation, I used to do emulation before I got a lot of my collection. I don't mind it at all. I think it's totally fine. But I'm at the point where I don't want to have a lot of systems set up. I want to have a few systems that can play as much as possible, so I don't have to hook a bunch of stuff up. So that's how I feel about it. I don't mind playing on the old school stuff, but it's just like hooking it up or finding a place to hook it up, plug it in. It's just kind of annoying. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that, I would say. Yeah, I mean, my Retron 5 still works somewhat. So when it does, I still play a lot of my games on there. I hate to say that, but mine's acting up, so it barely works sometimes. But it's oh gosh, we'll go into the Retron. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. You know, what do you think? You like having an all-in-one system?
I have what my issue is to know where every system is, because it's like let's open everywhere, and where are the cables? Some cables are shared, some cables are not. So recently, I remember with these friends meetings, I wanted to play to think, okay, yeah, we have the NES. Let's focus on the NES, but there is also the DS. For example, like with Mario Kart DS, that's one of those games that went on the cheap, and we never get tired of that. It is another one. We are talking, and we can keep talking for 1 hour. Okay, we've been playing the same 10 circuits all over, but it is never get tired. So in my case, I prefer to play the original systems when we have time. But if you don't have time, let's go for emulation. Or if you are playing with somebody on remote, this tool called Parsec. I don't know if you ever played it, ever used it, but it's really nice for emulators.
Yeah, okay. I just thought of a game that I wasn't sure about, but back in the day, Super Ghouls and Ghosts was a game I didn't think I was gonna like, and I ended up loving it. You know, I got that game I think on my birthday, and I was like, I looked at the cover, I was like, oh, this looks horrible, like I'm not gonna play this. And at that time I got Turtles in Time and Contra 3, so I had just got those games, so I was like, this game, what is this? And I played Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and I'll tell you guys my first experience playing that game. I was home alone, I was around 11 years old. My mom had went out to the store or something like that, and had a loud TV. And if you've seen the intro of Ghouls and Ghosts, you know, it was Arthur, he's running to the festival, going to the castle, fireworks and everything like that. He goes and meets the princess, and he pushes the start button, and there's something coming towards the castle, but you can't see it. So it's using those, what do you call those graphics for Super Nintendo? Mode 7, Mode 6, or something like that? Mode 7. And it's something's coming to the castle, and it's creepy as heck. And then, like, when it crashed through and I saw how the monster looked, it kind of tripped me out, especially the sound effects tripped me out. So I'll never forget that experience. And then that game was freaking awesome. I think that's the best Ghouls and Ghosts game out there. Might be the easiest, I'm not sure. But I had a good time with it. That's the one. So I know everybody knows what Ghouls and Ghosts, right? All right, cool. Ghosts and Goblins, yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts, all that good stuff. Anybody? No one? Let's go for it.
Have you played any good games lately?
Oh man. So lately I played Valkyrie Elysium. That's the new Valkyrie profile game out of the Valkyrie profile series. I beat that. Of course, I'm always playing Horizon Chase Turbo. I've been playing Dead by Daylight, which I gotta put that game down. That game's addicting. Like, godly. I've never played anything like that before, but I always like, if I'm working and I come home, I say, oh, let me play a couple of games of this real fast, and it's like, turns into like a while. But that's another one I always play. It's like my bread and butter game. I wish I had my phone with me so I could tell you guys the games I played and beaten. I left it in the hotel.
It's funny because I told I'm staying with him. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I said, Reggie, here's your phone charging. He said, no, that's my second phone.
Oh yeah, because I have two phones here. Like,
and the
one
point is that the first phone should be with you.
Yeah, I totally left it, man. I was like, wow.
It was funny, and then my phone, I forgot it.
Another game I beat was Tales of Arise recently. You guys remember the Tales series? I beat that finally. It's weird though, because when I play RPGs now, because I used to talk about RPGs all the time, but I don't really have that much time to play them anymore. RPG for me, 40 hours at the most, but now I'm getting to the point where they have to be 20 hours at most. And a good example is Valkyrie Elysium. You know, there's so many games I gotta like finish and play. You know, so I want to get caught up. So I'm not trying to get into like something that's very deep, unless it's compelling. Like I'll give you an example, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I had a great time playing that. That was fantastic. So something like that, I don't mind. But right now, I'm just trying to catch up on a couple of games, you know. But I have beaten a lot. I just can't think of everything right now, unfortunately. Anyway.
When you were a kid, did you just get into video games, or did you have somebody that kind of like
Okay, so
you started playing with that you?
So my brother worked at a pizza shop, and forgot what it was called, but I was around 4 years old, and he took me there a couple of times, and they had some arcade machines there. So he gave me some quarters, and I was a small kid, so I remember I had to grab a chair, you know, get the quarters in and stand up and play the game, and it was mainly the pinball one I had to stand up. Well, no, I had to actually stand up with both of them, but they had Punch Out. They had some pinball game I can't remember, and then another game I can't remember. But what happened was I put a quarter in Punch Out and I was playing it. And the first guy you fight is Glass Joe, easiest guy, right? Beat him. Next person, Piston Hurricane, beat him. And then I got the Ball Bull and I beat him. And then what happened was a lot of people saw me playing the game and they started cheering me on. And I'm a kid, like getting cheered on by these teens and adults. So I'll never forget that. So that was the moment that I actually started getting into video games. I said I was good at this. So I got pretty far. Then they saw me playing the pinball and trying to play that. Couldn't play that long because it was so wide, but I was still having fun. That was the moment that got me into games, I would say. And over time, I would watch my brother play games, and I got better at them like that. Like he beat Punch Out for the NES. He used to play this game, Track and Field loops, but he got through it, and I watched him play that. So that was the turning point for me where I got into games like that. So that's where we're strong at, I would say. What about you?
You know a game called Macross for the NES? It was magic for me. I was like 7 or 8 years old. My parents never wanted me to like, let's play this, you know. This is video games. No, it was like basically I went into a friend's house. There was a TV, an NES. Maybe it was a clone NES, and let's see, play with the daughter of my friends guys. I was starting to play, and so you know this robot that was a sheep and was a robot and was shooting and was, oh my god, this is like a movie, like a. Remember, I was thinking about this is like a anime movie or something like that. I'm changing things, and I thought I need this. And it's at some point I need this, you know, that the feeling that I couldn't stop trying. And since that was the first thing, then I got my NES with the Terminator 2, the first, the original, the movie game, and I never got to beat it, but it was like I'm feeling in the movie, and I never got to see the movie, you know.
See the game
It's,
first.
it's like as a kid, no, this is too violent for you. like 10 years old, 9 years old, this is too much. So I got up to see the movie like 4 years after, and I played the game so many times. So
Right.
it's like many people like see the movie and then play the game. So I played the game a lot of times, always died in the lava pit at the end. It was like, okay, I'm ready to die again.
That's hilarious.
Always died. And that's my starting point with video games.
Right on. Any more questions? Hey, go ahead.
Well, on the topic of Terminator, what's your favorite licensed video game, or do you have one?
There's some good ones out there actually.
Well,
that,
bad ones as well.
yeah. Oh gosh,
Sega CD Terminator.
that one has a great soundtrack. Man, that soundtrack is hot.
The Disney 16-bit one.
That's a good one. You know,
I would say the Mask for the Super Nintendo got me surprised, really surprised recently.
Aladdin on the Super Nintendo. I'm one of those few people that likes it better than the Genesis version. I know the Genesis version is superior, but the Super Nintendo one is just on point. I would choose that one. It's one of my favorite licensed games. Has anybody played the Super NES version of Aladdin? Okay, good. Or do you guys think it's better than Genesis? Right.
I do. I think so.
Right on.
A licensed game that kind of surprised me that I didn't think, I always thought was only for my sister. was Little Mermaid for the NES. That was a banger for.
Yeah, I just found out. I saw a video on it. I want to say a couple months ago, and I had no idea. They say it's a really short game,
Yeah.
but they say it's on point. But it's by Capcom USA. You remember when Capcom was doing all those Disney games like DuckTales, Rescue Rangers? Those games were on point. So yeah, so I had no idea about Little Mermaid. Like I said, the only bad thing I heard about it is that it's too short, but still, it's a solid game. Maybe I should pick that up while I'm here. You know, thank you.
It's on the cheap.
It's on the cheap too. There you go.
Darwin Duck is another one.
That's another good one. Okay. They're all good actually. Yeah, they are. Anybody else have a question?
Pirates Remorse, anything you spent that you really wanted, and you're like, maybe I should have spent that much more. And also on you, what made you choose your graphic designer?
You mean this?
Yeah, so 2 questions.
Okay, I'll start off first before you get. So, if you guys, are you guys familiar with TurboGrafx PC Engine? There's a game called Magical Chase, the most expensive game on that system, right? So back in 2000, I want to say 15, I found out there was a sister version of it. It's on the Game Boy Color. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to buy this game on the PC Engine. I'll get the Game Boy Color version, and it was cheaper than the original PC version, but the game ended up costing like $350, and I just got my tax return, so I said I'm ready to spend some money. But even though I had that extra money, after I pushed that confirm buy button, I felt the remorse immediately, and I tried to cancel, and the guy's like, nope, and he just went through right away. It's like, I got it. But I'm happy I got the game, but that was the moment, that was the first time I had buyer's remorse. And nowadays for me, you know, if I spend over $100 for one game, I'll have a little bit of buyer's remorse. Even if I have the money to buy it, you know, or I have a budget, I just feel like, yeah, I wish I got it cheaper, but it's just a small buyer's remorse. But that was the worst one when I bought that game. It lasted about the rest of that night. And then the next, I think about the time I got the game, I was happy. I was like, cool. So that was for me. And then your question.
So your question was, what made the studio to make a game like low poly instead of pixel art? So the studio is down in Porto Alegre, Brazil. This is the southern capital of the country, and they've been making a lot of advert games, like games for brands, and they work with Cartoon Network. So we are talking about 2015, because now it's the 7th anniversary of Horizon Chase. So the point is that they wanted to make their own thing. They didn't want to recreate, to replicate the pixel art aesthetics, and they wanted to evolve through that. So there was the time when, you know, Monument Valley, you know that mobile game? The low poly games, Art of Rally, you know? The game called Art of Rally is, well, indie games. So the point is that this clean looking low poly aesthetics was really popular, starting to be popular, to become popular back in 2015. So they said, okay, this is enough to express a modern game with a classic DNA. So they wanted to really create that feeling that we are not capitalizing on nostalgia, you know? So this was one of the main reasons. And the other part is that they wanted to make a 3D game. They wanted to make something that felt modern. So the original platform that game Horizon Chase was designed for was mobile devices. So we are talking about iPhone 6, 7, 8 maximum at the time. I think 6, 5. So an Android that has a lot of devices. So they wanted to do a game that was easy to run on the humblest of humble systems, and that run well. So the low poly aesthetic really didn't need much of a machine to run well. So that was a balance between aesthetics and performance. That's why the game is not. It doesn't want to be asphalt. It doesn't want to be Top Gear, pixel art. You know. I think that is one of the things that made Horizon Chase last over the years. Is because we are talking about now. This 1st of September, I think it was, the second game was announced, and we are talking about a game that started being a thing in August 2015. So the game lasted a lot with a lot of updates. And this aesthetic has been, kind of used as a reference by other games, but I think nobody really copied it. So I think you made a question that may be the key of why the game lasted so long. That they took a little of a risk into making a different type of game, and it was the right one.
Oh. I didn't know if it was just for style or, like you said, what devices when you go on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard because at the beginning the game was only mobile. Then we launched in 2018 for the PC and consoles, and we put the turbo suffix, and we wanted to tell people this is not a mobile game, this is a full-fledged console and PC game, and then it ended up being like that for players. But it was hard at the beginning because many people said, I love it in mobile, but mobile word, you say mobile is, shitty. And there's another thing, I don't know if you know about Horizon Chase. Horizon Chase is not really a 3D game. It's a 2D game made with 3D tools. Because when you see the car, it's not really a 3D environment you can move the car on. It's a stripe that runs under it. So the prototype of Horizon Chase basically is a stripe running on the car, and you have the car that can move right and left. And I remember I joined the company in March. The game was out in August. So the game was not called Horizon Chase. The game was called Project Retro Racers.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked, man, at all.
So the thing is that I brought the game, it was in Brazil, I brought the game to a big festival, it's an indie game festival in Sao Paulo, and I come back to the studio saying, the people saying that this game is awesome looking, but they are not feeling the weight of the car. So the turns were not right, were not feeling right. So the game, it was a game design issue. So what we did was, we talked to the game designer, and he went to Unity, that's the tool we use to make the game, and he started changing inertia, weights, wind, I don't remember all the parameters, and all the studio, we got to play around 10 versions of the game in different styles, with the curves in different styles, so they could find exactly what made you feel the weight of the car.
Have you guys played Horizon Chase Turbo? A lot of you guys played it? Keep it on your minds. It's on point. Another thing I want to ask you guys: how are you guys enjoying the pickups videos? Do you guys really enjoy those? Those? Okay, cool. We're actually working on another one for you guys once Jason heals up and everything. I'm glad to hear it from you guys because those videos are so much work to put all the footage together. But I'm glad you guys are liking them. Were there any more questions? Sure.
He wanted to know what's a game that you couldn't beat and it frustrated you so much that you're still mad about it.
You know what's funny? There's a game I almost didn't beat because I was so mad. I could give him that one. Usually I find a way to beat the games. So it's a Tales game, RPG, called Tales of Zestiria with a Z. That game does not give you a lot of direction on where to go, and I was lost for a long time, and that was frustrating because I'm putting time into this game and I can't afford to be stuck. That was the game that made me mad, and I remember I was so mad that I made a post on Facebook. There's an RPG group I was in. I was like telling her, I was arguing this game is horrible because it doesn't tell you where to go. I'm lost, the pacing is horrible. That was the last time I got super mad at a game. And I think it took me like a week before I played it again because I said, I gotta get my money's worth. I paid for this game, I'm gonna beat it. And I ended up finding a way and I ended up beating the game, but the sad part is I never picked it up again. Usually I go back and play a game again, like all my games, but that one I did not pick up again after that, so that's one. It's like, yeah. So hopefully that someone answered this question.
Yeah, do you guys still do garage sales, or you guys do more thrifting?
No, I don't even do that anymore. I think I stopped around 2016. The area I live in, you know, is just very like there's just nothing anymore. Like going to garage sales, to really get a good experience, you probably have to go to 10 of them or something that day, or as many as you can that day, because one of them might be a hit, and that'll make it all worth it. But I just got tired of driving around and just like, you know, you just never know, you know what I mean?
But what I'm finding out in the wild is that people aren't uninformed anymore.
Yeah, everybody knows them.
They have eBay right on their phone. They're pricing them right there.
Exactly. You know, it's crazy. You know, as far as thrifting, you know, going to like, I did go to Goodwill's, but I stopped doing that because they stopped putting games out where I'm at. They put them straight online. I'm like, what the heck, man? So that was crazy. And there's another place called Value Village. It's still like cool, but I don't really go there anymore. I think this is most of the reason for me because I feel like my collection's plateaued in a way. I've gotten most of the stuff I wanted. So when I go shopping, it's usually at events like this. This is the time to do it, you know. I had a budget of around $1,000. I didn't want to go over that while I'm here. I didn't get there, thankfully. I got to like 500. But this is where I like to like pick up stuff because there's so many vendors here and there's so many options, and you know there's something out there. So I'm not trying to stray people away from like thrifting or going out, but for me, I would just never find anything where I'm at. Now, when I would go out of state and I would go with friends to stores like pawn shops and stuff like that, I'll find stuff. You know, you can still find stuff like that easy, but like doing it on a regular basis, like I couldn't do it anymore.
You're using up like an entire day.
It's draining. Yeah, it's draining, especially if you don't find nothing. It's like, oh man. I can imagine like waking up like it was a regular job, just wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to hit up these pawn shops and thrift stores all day. And hopefully I'll find a good deal. But yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Go ahead.
Grails you're still looking for?
What's that again?
Do you have any Grails if you're still looking for them?
I don't know if the games I choose would be considered holy grails, but I found a holy grail game for me here at the show, and I didn't pick it up because I thought today I could buy it for cheaper and it's sold. I was like, oh man. But I don't know, I should have just bought it, but I was just being cheap. But not too many holy grails. The game I'm talking about was Crystallis for the Game Boy Color's RPG. You saw it too? Yeah. But I missed out on that one. Maybe next time. But not really any holy grails anymore. At least I don't consider any I wouldn't really know what to call a lot of holy grails anymore. Like I don't think I have anything in my collection that's a holy grail. I guess I could say a holy grail to me is something like the test system PS2, which is region free, so you can play all PS2 games. The test system PS3, stuff like that, I consider a holy grail. But not really currently looking for anything that's holy grail. Too expensive.
You had mentioned like the pickup video takes a long time to make. I'm wondering, like, do you like structure your week a certain way to make content and also work?
Dude, I'm so random. It's just it takes me a long time because I'm always busy with my job, and then like the YouTube thing is always like, you know, just for the fans. It's a hobby pretty much, but I need to structure it better. But usually when I buckle down and do a video, like this, I did a Vegas video this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. I put that video together like the day of the show. Pretty much, I had to like rush and put it together because I wanted you guys to have something for the show. But usually, I would say if you want to put a good video together with a lot of editing, I would say at least it takes at least around, I want to say 15 to 20 hours, you know, to put something good together, you know. So structuring that time, I don't do it very well. I used to, but because I'm always wanted to do something else, like watch a movie, play a game, hang with friends and all that stuff. But usually I would say a good time to structure something is just put, you know, take breaks, you know, 8 hours, put 8 hours into it, then the next day put another 8 hours into it, and you'll probably have a complete video. Jason does it way better than me. You know, he put a video together like that. As long as he gets the footage together, me, I get distracted, you know, there's something on TV, you know, or something I see on the internet, I'm like, oh, it takes away. So that's why it takes me so long. But I may get better at it in the future as I get more dedicated. But I think I do a good enough job to keep everybody, make the video nice and presentable, and everybody enjoys it. So that's my main goal. So I'm happy with that. So.
What's your favorite RPG?
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time, and then I guess maybe recently too. But
It's a tough one, man. I got a number one, dude. Let's see, what was the one that moved me the most? I would say Valkyrie Profile. That game was touching. That was, well, no, I take it back. I gotta change it. I'm sorry. Dang, I can't believe I did that. Star Ocean: The Second Story. I would say that's my favorite RPG of all time. Tell you a story about it. So I remember I was walking home and there was a store called Game Land, and I went into the store and they had Star Ocean playing. The guy told me, yeah, man, this is a new game coming out, man. It has 81 different endings. I was like, 81 endings? Like, whoa, what the heck? Like, that's insane. So I was already like blown away. And back then I was really into astronomy, like, planets and stuff and space travel. So that game was perfect for me. And once I got it, I fell in love with it. It's one of the first games where it has this function called private actions. If you do the private actions with other characters, they end up becoming friends, possible love interests, and those characters have stronger bonds pretty much. So in the battle system, they team up and they do like better combos, better, stronger attacks pretty much, and stuff like that. So it was called the Emotion Engine or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But I just thought that game was amazing, and it was just really cool. So that would be my number one RPG of all time. What about you? You have a number one?
I have an issue with the RPGs. I have no time to play. And when I see an RPG, I think, okay, I will buy it. We'll play it sometime. And now I have a friend, maybe girlfriend one day, and we are talking about what do we want, because we live in different cities. We are talking about what we want to do together. And I told her, I want to beat all Final Fantasy games with you. Because it's like I want to spend a lot of time with you. It's like it's the best compliment, for a possible girlfriend. so that's my issue with RPGs. I have a lot of good RPGs, and one of them, but I didn't know. I just bought Mario RPG. Because my lack of knowledge of RPGs, in 2009 I was an organizer in one event in Madrid, in Spain, called Retro Madrid. So the point is, I was there invited to work at the place where they sell used games, and a guy with a big box came, and he said, pick up the ones you want in change of selling everything to me. And there were 4 RPGs that I thought, those look good. And I knew 2, and the other one I didn't knew. So I took the ones I knew, complete in box, perfect state. Zelda, Final Fantasy 3, I took them with me as they are still in my collection. And the other ones, the other 2, one that I rejected, I didn't know. I thought, I don't know if they are so good and so valuable. Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG. So I'm. Today, right now, before coming here, I just patched one of those inchers. That's basically Mario RPG. I have it now.
Just got it. Just right before we came in here, you got it.
Yeah. I thought, first time here, I need to get my Mario RPG.
Back. Nice. RPGs, they are something else. Especially I feel like the golden years of RPGs was pretty much the PS1 and up. Not trying to take away from the Super Nintendo era. That was a great era too. It's just that I wasn't really into that era of RPGs. I did like Secret of Mana, but I got into it a little bit late. So the PS1 and up was really my PS1 to PS2 was really my strong RPG era. Lots of great titles. Lots of companies were able to take risks back then. They can't do it today because they'll go bankrupt. So they're not. A lot of these companies are not really. I want to say they don't want to try new ideas that kind of like, just kind of like expand certain games, I would say. They play it safe, I would say. So that's what it seems like. So I always go back to the old school games and really enjoy them a lot. And I actually, Star Ocean has celebrated its 20th anniversary a few years back. So I decided to grab Star Ocean on the PS1 and play it again. And it felt like a time capsule. I felt like I was a teen again. It was amazing. And beat the game, and it was an awesome experience, just like in the beginning. So I thought that was awesome. So, yeah. Hope that answered your question. Last one. Anybody else? Don't be shy. There you go.
What game took you the longest to beat? Like maybe you played it as a kid, you never got to beat it, you're older, well, I'm gonna beat it, and then it took longer than what you expected.
That's a tough one. Cause usually I'm pretty dedicated. Like I'm gonna be in it.
Yeah, one game that is.
Okay, don't laugh, but now that I remember, it was Final Fantasy VII. So I'll tell you what happened to me in Final Fantasy VII real fast. I had just was getting into turn-based RPGs, so I didn't really know how to play them properly. You know, obviously you gotta grind and to level up so things would get easier. I wasn't grinding much, so I was like beating bosses by the skin of my teeth, and I thought that was the way the game was to be played. So there's a part in Final Fantasy VII where you get to a town called Wata, I can't remember, it's Yuffie's town. And there's a part in the game where she steals all the materia from you. I was underpowered, so I had no materia magic spells or nothing like that. So you have to fight a boss without all your materia and spells, and you can't leave the town. So I got stuck on that part, and I had to start the game over again. It took a bit longer to get into it, because that was a lot of time I put into it. That's like kind of towards the end of the first disc where I got there, so that was pretty annoying. It took me longer to beat Final Fantasy VII out of all the games, I would say, because I was still kind of getting into RPGs and everything, so. Oh man, you're bringing back all those memories, man. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for asking me questions. Thank you I'm glad you guys enjoyed the content. You guys got a lot of time to do some shopping at the convention. Hopefully you guys find some cool stuff. And thank you again for showing up, guys. You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.